tonight from Pittsburgh. National League Baseball between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Arizona Diamondbacks, the first of a 4-game series. Looks like clear sailing the rest of the night. You know, we were rained out last night, Buccos and Brewers. So the 10-game homestand is shortened to a 9-gamer. A lot of youngsters on hand. Youth baseball night here at PNC Park. Greg Brown, Steve Blass, Robbie Inspikowski with you. And on the mound tonight, the guy who was supposed to start last night, Chad Kuhl. And Steve, if you look at his numbers, 5-4 overall, 3.76 ERA, but he's been pitching much better. In fact, an earned run average this month of 312.
Yeah, he has been much better, and he got a win last time out, deservedly so. It's been a dry spell for him, but you know, he's going to be going against a guy with one of the best curveballs in the business. What Chad Kuhl in this recent run he's been on has been throwing a much better breaking ball, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, he has been very, very solid without getting much to show for it. He could be maybe 8-5, maybe even 9-5 with it as well as he's thrown. So we'll hope he doesn't change a thing. Keep it going just the same as you've been going, Chad.
And this Diamondbacks club, we talked about it last week in Phoenix. They've gotten better offensively, and of course it all starts with Paul Goldschmidt. Rocket Mortgage breakdown. Goldschmidt's numbers phenomenal since June the 5th. And he was just 4 for 12 against the Pirates last week in Phoenix.
Yeah, and those are not all singles. Those are production numbers. You know, the batting average 474 is great, but then the home runs, doubles, runs, the RBIs. This guy is a wrecking crew. He's the one guy on this team you don't want to have beat you.
Chad Kuhl goes up against Goldschmidt and the D-backs. Zach Godley, a 7-game winner, is on the mound for the Snakes. Buccos and D-backs are next.
Marte squared. Starling on the right, Kittel on the left. Kittel a second baseman, Starling the center fielder, both in the starting lineup tonight. I'm Robbie Inspikowski, and first pitch is coming your way in just a couple moments here, shortly after 7 p.m. Well, that wasn't the case 24 hours ago when the Milwaukee Brewers were here, as it was downpouring really, really hard as we get a couple shots of last night. In fact, it rained so hard that the grounds crew, led by Matt Brown, actually had to wait until it stopped raining around 11 p.m. to begin working on the field. Then they flipped the water off the tarp, and then they actually flipped it back on after Matt was able to do some more work, and look at what we got right now. The gang went home. They were back at work at 8 a.m. this morning. Look how beautiful that field looks, Greg. It is fantastic. The good news is they didn't have to do a lot of work to get the field ready for tonight because they had it all ready to go last night before the game was delayed. Brownie?
Well, thank you very much for that, Robbie, and definitely a tip of the cap to Matt Brown and his hard-working grounds crew, and really all the folks around here who, it was not just the field, but there were areas of some flooding that had to be cleaned up, and they spent long hours into the early morning hours this morning to get this ballpark ready, and they did a tremendous job, a lot of hard work. And Chad Kuhl has been working hard to become a more consistent pitcher. This is the lineup he will face, and starting out with that Pirate killer, John Jay. Last 17 games overall for David Peralta, he's been hitting .333. He follows Paul Goldschmidt. Then it's Daniel Descalso hitting cleanup. Ketel Marte bats fifth. Alex Avila is the catcher. Nick Ahmed at short. Gerard Dyson is the center fielder, and Zach Godley pitching for the Snakes.
Chad Kuhl finally getting a chance to pitch after waiting around last night, and you hope that doesn't bother him. It's really agony to wait. Maybe that's too strong a word, but you're ready to pitch on a certain day. You want to pitch, find out if you're good enough that night. He didn't get a chance to do that last night, so we'll hope he's all right and not too anxious to get things done this evening. He has been quite good recently. Should have more wins to show for his recent work. He doesn't, so you can't do anything about that, but you can do something about tonight. And you hope that he mixes that curveball up with his fastball plenty fast enough. And you hope that he doesn't get revved up in the moment. Sometimes he'll escalate with a situation. So we hope he stays calm and gets it done.
Honda defense, you see Austin Meadows is in left field as a Corey Dickerson second day away, family emergency. Medical emergency. Starling Marte in center, Gregory Polanco in right, Colin Moran and Jordy Mercer on the left side of the infield. The Joshes on the right, Harrison and Bell. And Francisco Cervelli is the catcher. As you can see, the Pirates are, as they do on Thursday home games, wearing their military-style unis on military days, their jerseys and special caps. And today's Pirates Charities 50-50 raffle, and to benefit the heroes supporting heroes, continuing to do what they can to help the military. The first pitch, fastball away to John Jay.
Interesting, this Arizona team, they're very successful. They're in first place, last place in team batting average in the National League. So they must be getting some maybe better than expected pitching. If they're not knocking the cover off the ball as a team, well, you look to the other aspects. So it's got to be pitching.
And it's gotten better, the hitting. That's how bad it's been. 2-0 count and a strike. It's 2-1. Stu Sherwater is the home plate umpire, calling the balls and strikes. The Canadian native, Eric Cooper at first, Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, at second, Corey Blazer at third. And slap toward left where Meadows goes back, and that ball's carrying over his head and over the wall for a book ruled double. John Jay is absolutely incredible when it comes to facing the Pirates, sitting close to .450 his last 20 games against Pittsburgh.
He did it as a Cardinal, starts this game off by doing it as a Diamondback. That pitch upstairs a little bit, out away, gets the arms extended and gives that ball a lot of carry.
Man, what is it about John Jay against Pittsburgh? He was 5 for 9 with 5 ribbies in the 3-game series, and he didn't even play in the first game. He pinch hit and walked the first game of that series. Now it's Goldschmidt.
Talk about hot against everybody. Used to be back in the day, Greg, when you had a guy that just tortured you, you trade for him.
Yeah,
but there's no room here in the outfield for John Jay.
Paul Goldschmidt tied for second now in homers after a miserable April. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Actually, Pirates, as you mentioned in the open, Greg did a good job containing him. He got his base hits, but they were singles when the Pirates are out in Phoenix.
Pitchers there, 3 of them, and then Adam Frazier, who's back, came back yesterday with Dickerson on medical family emergency leave. 2-1 the count. So Frazier spent a little bit over a week at Indy and now back with the Pirates. And Chad Kuhl, not only did he have to wait a day, but he has to change the game plan. He was ready to face the Brewers last night. And so a short turnaround. Now you change everything, throw that out the window and focus on these guys.
Yeah, you as a pitcher, you look at the matchups. Who do I not want to have beat me? Who have I had good luck against? And a whole different cast of characters. Good looking pitch right there. You can see by the WB Mason strike zone, trying to work him down, trying to work him away. And this is a perfecta. Might as well go ahead and take that pitch, Paul, because most of the time you can't do much with it. Will they come out of that neighborhood downstairs?
Goldschmidt walks a bunch and strikes out a ton. But he walks here.
Well, really not fatal, although you don't want to put the first two hitters of the game on the base paths, but he can hurt you more than he can walking down to first base.
He is tied for 6th in the National League in walks. He has struck out more than any other player in the league. 90 punch outs. And now it's first and second. Kuhl's second career start against these Diamondbacks. Went 5 innings last year in a no decision in late May. And David Peralta, 98 at the knees to David Peralta, who went 3 for 12 in that series last week against Pittsburgh.
14 home runs on his resume so far this year.
And let's see how Bell does. The throw to second, and they get the out. It's become a bit of an adventure there, and gets the out at second base. Puts runners at first and third. As Bell continues to work on so many facets of his game.
This is not the best throw in the world, but I don't think they were going to have a chance for a double play. Took a while for him to get over and get that ball that was wide of first base.
We're just trying to see it in that view that we just had. You see Kuhl was heading over that way. It was hard to tell whether Peralta would have easily beaten a relay had the throw been better to Mercer. And now it is Daniel Descalso. And he lines one toward deep right. And Polanco back. And it's 1-0 Arizona. And look at that throw from Polanco to second. Well done. But it's a sacrifice fly, and it's a 1-0 lead for Arizona.
I thought that ball had a little more carry than it did when it left the bat. It settled down on the warning track. So all things considered, at the cost of a run, it has settled down here in the top of the first.
That's just the 5th run that Chad Kuhl has allowed in the first inning in this his 15th start for the season. So he has kept the opposition in check in the first for the most part. Ketel Marte, the switch hitting second baseman, who went 5 for 10 last week in the series against the Pirates. Foul territory, Moran over.
You know, going back to Chad Kuhl's last start when he beat Cincinnati here, he really pitched in and around 2 or 3 really tough situations to keep it together. Wound up 6 innings just giving up 1 earned run. Actually got the win after he had departed from the ball game in favor of a pinch hitter. So sometimes that happens, and you know, he had one of those kind of wins coming. He pitched very well without much to show for it. So he got the W even though he was out of the ball game. I think maybe the next night or a couple of nights later, Trevor Williams did the same thing in that 1-0 ball game.
One ball, 2 strikes, working with Francisco Cervelli tonight. You see Cervelli's got the new mask on. There's Elias Diaz, who has caught a bunch with Cool. And that's driven deep to right. And this one is gone. A line drive home run by Ketel Marte, his 6th, and it's 3-0 Arizona.
That's been a little bit of an ongoing issue for Chad Kuhl in that the first 14 starts, 12 home runs, so he adds to that total. Home run number 13 given up, and this is 15th outing. There's the curveball, and he gets under it. Does Marte and gets it out of here.
Ketel Marte now 6 for 11 against the Pirates this season. There's Alex Avila hitting just 109. So a couple things in the first inning. You want to really break it down. The walk to Goldschmidt, and as Steve said, yeah, Goldschmidt can really hurt you with one swing, and we'll never know, had he put the ball in play, if Kuhl had thrown a strike, what might have happened. And then we still don't know whether the Pirates, it wasn't a great shot, but you wonder about a good throw from Bell to Mercer. Do they get Peralta? Meanwhile, last two batters have stung the ball, and Jay, of course, began the game with that line drive over Meadows' head. Some of these balls have been barreled up early against Kuhl.
Yeah, Descalso did not miss much by getting one out in front of Marte.
Oh, 0-2 on Avila. Did he? It's Corey Blazer over there.
The home run by Marte, given up by Kuhl. Kuhl has now given up 13. That leads the pitching staff. Tyone next with 10.
It's the strikeout, and he's not happy. Chad Kuhl gives up 3. The sacrifice fly by Descalso, the 2-run homer by Marte. Josh Harrison and the Pirates will try and make some of that up. The RAV4 starting lineup includes Austin Meadows hitting second, Starling Marte, 28 career games against Arizona, 42 hits, almost half of them have gone for extra bases. Colin Moran has a 7-game hitting streak. Then it's Francisco Cervelli and Josh Bell. Gregory Polanco in right, Jordy Mercer, Chad Kuhl starting 9.
And they'll be teeing it up against Zach Godley, 7-5, 4.47 ERA. We heard a lot about him and his curveball, rated as one of the better in the business. He's won his last 2 starts. Got off to a great start, 4-1. little downtime in the middle, but he's back on track, having won the last 2.
And a lot of teams are being very patient with Zach Godley.
38 walks.
Second highest percentage of pitches taken in the league, behind only Mike Foltynewicz of the Braves. 57.9% of the time opponents take against Godley, and it's 2-1. 7 wins among the league leaders. Max Scherzer 10 to lead the league. You see the numbers, percentage of pitches taken. And lifted toward right. Long run for John Jay, and going to run out of room. Check out the defense. John Jay is in right. You just saw him, and Gerard Dyson, speedy center fielder. David Peralta is in left. Paul Goldschmidt has won 3 Gold Gloves. He's at first. Ketel Marte at second. Nick Ahmed will win a Gold Glove someday, you'd think. Daniel Descalso at third, and Alex Avila behind the plate.
So far, the scouting report, a bunch of pitches thrown here to Josh Harrison, and he works it. Noted for his curveball, also throwing a lot of ground ball outs. Resume for Godley.
Harrison went 3 for 11 in the series last week in Phoenix. The Pirates did not see Godley in that series.
Defensive alignment, loaded up over on the left side.
Just one man on that right side, and it will go to the shortstop. Well, had him in the pull mode, and he did. 6-3. And Austin Meadows back in the starting lineup. It was scheduled to start last night, but again the game got rained out. He had missed a couple of games after having fouled a pitch off his foot on Sunday against the Reds.
You know, sometimes things don't really add up as you take a look at the shift going the other way over on the right side against Meadows.
And now they're going
on the left. Now they're all on the right.
Yeah, now they're going to move Ahmed back over.
You know, I'm looking at the numbers for Godley. 7-5, but a 4.77 ERA. So you would expect that he gets a lot of offensive support. But as you said, this team is last in the National League in team batting average. So some things just don't add up the way you think they might.
Watch this, Steve. Nick Ahmed as the pitch is being delivered.
Man in motion. I don't know why that happens during the pitch.
Maybe looked like they were unsure, and he got a late signal.
Yeah. I don't think they're looking at the batter's feet and thinking,
whoa, how about this? He should have stayed over on the other side.
Exactly. Exactly.
And there's Austin Meadows again. You know, Meadows had a pinch hit appearance on Tuesday after not starting Monday or Tuesday, and he pinch hit against Jeremy Jeffers, had a great at bat, ended up with a strikeout. But watch this. Ahmed had been over on that side when the at bat began.
And once again, you go back to if a ball is hit hard enough, you got to be right there. It doesn't matter whether you're shifting or not. You can be 2 steps away. If it's hit hard enough, it's going to get by you. And that ball was hit sharply enough. If it wasn't right at you, it was going to be a base hit.
So now Starling Marte. A little dribbler. Marte pretty much giving up on it. He's tagged out. As Meadows goes to second. 2 outs.
Looked like almost surprised Starling that the ball not only made contact but stayed fair.
See if Colin Moran can deliver with 2 outs as Meadows singles with 1 out and now moves to second.
It'd be nice to answer with even just 1 after the violence in the top of the first.
7-game hitting streak for Colin Moran. Godley's given up 11 homers. Mentioned Cool 13. Did he go?
That's the curveball, and it's a power curveball. It's not, you know, it is an off-speed pitch because you can't throw a curve as hard as a fastball, but that's about as hard as you can throw a curve. You see the spike with the finger on the top. It's a particular grip that some curveball guys like to throw, but he doesn't throw it as a real definitive change of speed. He throws the power curve.
Two and 0.
There are a lot of people around baseball that say if you can be a consistent curveball pitcher, you can win, because not a lot of major league hitters have a lot of major league success against the old traditional curve. Not the slider, not the cutter.
The old time Uncle Charlie.
Yep, the downer. Yep, the downer.
Another dribbler. Moran takes off for first, but he is retired. And the Pirates leave a man, 1 inning down, 3-0 D-backs.
T-Mobile. Show your military appreciation and use hashtag HatsOffForHeroes. T-Mobile will donate $1 for each post. And by the law firm of Bordas & Bordas. Bordas & Bordas, fighting for justice. Let's go Bucks!
It is 3-0 Diamondbacks. And as you can see, a lot of kids here from Atlantic Coast Baseball, which is based in Trafford, Pennsylvania. Some 1,400 kids and coaches on hand tonight. They paraded around the warning track pregame.
Just great to see so many young baseball players.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a pretty neat sight.
First pitch breaking ball to Nick Ahmed. From all over Atlantic Coast Baseball. They run a lot of tournaments throughout the year. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ahmed, bottom third of the order.
Well, one thing you need to do, and Chad Kuhl got a taste of this last year, as every starting pitcher would when you first get to the big leagues. You can get touched up in the first inning and you still can win a baseball game. You got to keep track of that. It sounds so simple. You can't get discouraged to the point where you don't concentrate and you don't ever have that thought enter your mind. Oh my goodness, bad start, bad start. You go out there and start again in the second inning.
Ketel Marte, a 2-run homer after a sacrifice fly by Descalso, and now it's 3-1 on Ahmed. Line to left. That ball was smoked hard off the padding, and Ahmed into second base with a stand-up double. Strong throw from Meadows, but Ahmed doubles off the padding and left on a 3-1 pitch.
Right there. Right there. Hittable. We talk about so many things in pitching, but making good pitches. How many good pitches can you make without serving that ball in the middle of the strike zone? Chad did such a good job of working out of jams last time when he got the win against Cincinnati. Got out of a couple tough jams. Flyer. There have been times we've seen it, we've heard people talk about it when Chad has struggled. He's tried to throw harder, and you get caught up in that kind of negative momentum. The deeper the hole, the harder you throw, the faster you throw, and you get caught up with the rhythm on the other side. Sometimes it's good just to slow it down and see if you can collect yourself.
And lined into center.
Runner had to hold.
Well, that's the only bright spot of this inning. As Gerard Dyson singles to center, Ahmed had to hold because it was a line drive, and it's more trouble for Kuhl.
That's a fastball. He leaves right upstairs. That's right in the eyes of a hitter. Let's see, the runner Ahmed had to go back in case it was a line drive at somebody.
Well, now an early visit for Cervelli to the mound, and what will Torey Lovello, the D-back skipper, do here?
I think you'd have him bunting.
And he talked about that old Chuck Tanner bunt. If Godley, guy that could, for the most part, handle the bat, bunts toward third, that can be all kinds of trouble for the defense. Not much they could do. In this case, the Pirates. Is that Ahmed, the runner at third, can follow the third baseman Moran as far down as he has to go.
Sometimes I would think the only antidote to that situation, the Tanner play, if you will, third baseman gets the bunt and winds up and fakes the throw and holds on to it. You might be able to trick somebody that then the guy at third base would assume that you've already thrown the ball, and then you could trap him, but that's kind of a rare item.
See what they do. He's going to try to bunt. What direction? Looks like he's trying to bunt it toward first, where Bell has to be stationed for the most part until the pitch is delivered.
Yeah, this is the ideal situation for a pitcher up there trying to bunt. Got a third baseman playing back, and first baseman that has to hold.
A little scary. 2-0.
And so is the count.
Yeah.
See him giving ground there, not knowing quite what to do with his body. He is big, what, 6'3", 250, something like that. Calvin.
Gets it down toward first, and a foul ball.
You could not ask for a better scenario offensively for a team than to have runners on first and third and your pitcher up. I mean, you got all kind of possibilities. worst case scenario, of course, would be a strikeout, but you can give up the out and still have yourself in a good position with runners on second and third and going up to the top of the batting order. If your pitcher can get the bunt down. And there's Mr. J that you mentioned.
2-2, and now the question, is the bunt still on?
Well, this is where Chad can take a big step here and strike this guy out. It doesn't look like there's a lot of batting skills or bunting skills on display to this point.
The Cardinals have the most successful sacrifice bunts this year among their pitching staff. 19. Diamondbacks right around the middle of that pack. 12 sacrifice bunts by the pitchers. Pirates pitchers have bunted successfully 11 times. And this gets down, and Cool throws to first for the sacrifice. Harrison covers. So with 2 strikes, Godley gets the job done. Dyson is in scoring position.
And after a couple kind of floppy tries, he puts down a perfecta.
And it's John Jay. Started the ball game off with a double over Meadows' head in left.
Pirates defensively up at the corners a little bit. Moran even with the bag. Bell over even with first.
Jay was with the Royals at the start of the season. They signed him first week of March. Spring training had already started. He was one of several free agents just kind of hanging around. And the Giants signed him on March the 6th, or the Royals signed him rather on March the 6th. 1 year, $3 million base salary with some incentives. And recently picked up in a deal with the Diamondbacks.
That's what you call elevating your situation. Kansas City has 22 wins. The Diamondbacks have 40. A little more upscale neighborhood currently.
The Royals are certainly in sell mode. They are well out of the race. 2-1 on John Jay. Last 8 games, hitting .441. Zach Greinke, we will see him in this series. He'll pitch on Saturday afternoon against Joe Musgrove. And now it's 3-1. Greinke, of course, another former Royal. But Jay spent most of his career with the Cardinals.
And boy, you're asking for a real pot of boiling water if you lose Jay and you get Goldschmidt up there with the bases loaded.
Ripped to right. John Jay has done it again. He's going to drive in 2 more. And he is into second base with a double. It's 5-0. It's gotten to the point where you shouldn't pitch to Jay anymore. Worry about everybody else. It's insane.
Nothing cheap about it. And Ray Searage will come out and talk with Chad Kuhl and Cervelli. The double to left as he went with a pitch that was a trap if he wanted to try to pull it. That was successful, and now just hammers this ball to right field. So he's played both directions successfully.
My goodness. 5-0. John Jay now 2 for 2. We mentioned that series, he didn't even start the first game, and it was one of those situations kind of like Billy Hamilton. You're pleased when the manager doesn't start a certain player regardless of how he's hitting against other clubs. When the Reds don't start Billy Hamilton, and when a team, Cardinals, Cubs last year, Royals this season, and now the Diamondbacks, the Pirates are playing against John Jay. Glad he's not in there. Stephen Brault up early.
And if you want to have that knee-jerk opinion, well, maybe it threw him off that he didn't pitch when he was scheduled to pitch last night. I don't subscribe to that kind of stuff. I don't know if you ever know the answer to it, but I don't believe in it. It's just, so far, it's one of those rough outings. Just in the second inning.
I guess the other part of it, Steve, makes it really tough is the career numbers Cool had against Milwaukee. I mean, easily his best opponent. And you wonder what his mindset is going into a game like that. Nothing's ever automatic. You have to execute, but those career numbers against the Brewers. And there's right through a wide open hole. It's going to be 6-0. 6-0 Arizona. Just one out in the second.
Down and away, and that is a good pitch. And when you're having this kind of a start, that's what happens with those good pitches you throw. That was a very good pitch, and Goldsmith's just hit the ground ball where there wasn't any Pirates.
Now it's David Peralta. And again, just to finish up, in case you weren't with us at the start of the game yesterday, the scheduled game, Cool's career numbers against the Brewers: 6 starts, 3-0, 191 ERA.
Yeah, bad luck, that part of it. Now the job, quite frankly, for Chad Kuhl is to give Clint Hurdle a bunch of innings. It sounds rather harsh, but that's where we are in the second inning.
And with Brault up in the second inning, his job now is to get Peralta, because with another lefty hitter on deck, Descalso, it might be it for Kuhl if he doesn't get Peralta. He does. So that is the second out. And it brings up Descalso, who hit that sacrifice fly to right in the first inning.
Talking to some of the Arizona people, I wasn't in Arizona, but some of the guys coming into Pittsburgh talking about the value of Daniel Descalso to this ball club, and in glowing terms.
Second year with the Diamondbacks, another former Cardinal. A 31-year-old veteran. Drafted 11 years ago by St. Louis in the 3rd round out of UC Davis. Ball and a strike. The Pirates are faced with a situation that was not unlike the game we saw on Tuesday last week in Phoenix, when the Diamondbacks were up 6-0 after 1. It was 8-0 after 3, and the Pirates got to within 2 runs. The very next inning they scored 6 to make it an 8-6 ball game. Cardinals would add on. Pirates had to creep back to within 2 again. Felt like they were going to catch up, but the Cardinals had put the game away with John Jay hitting a 3-run homer off Dovydas Neverauskas in the 7th inning. A 13-8 final. And nice play by Bell. Sharply hit by Descalso. 3 more in. 6-zip. Allegheny Health Network injury update we'll get to in a moment as Chad Kuhl tries to gather his thoughts and cool off. He is, needless to say, unhappy with what he has done so far. And here's Francisco Cervelli. Cervelli, 256 hitter. Remember, Cervelli was scheduled to have last night off. Elias Diaz was going to be teamed with Chad Kuhl. So with the rain out, it is Cervelli, to be followed by Josh Bell and Gregory Polanco. And first base umpire Eric Cooper says Cervelli went.
That's the way things are going so far tonight. Godley out of South Carolina, went to the University of Tennessee. The Cubs drafted him in 2013. Came over a couple of years later to the Diamondbacks. First 3 seasons, up and down, few starts.
Well, Cervelli has been probably not hitting the ball with as much authority, but still tops in terms of on-base percentage among all catchers in the majors. .388, so he continues to get on base, but bad chase there.
Yep, looking for something else. Committed to swing early.
And we'll bring up Josh Bell. And again, tonight's Allegheny Health Network injury update. D-backs going to get a couple pitchers back. Randall Delgado, the reliever. Shelby Miller, starter. Robbie Ray making progress. Miller coming back from Tommy John will start, we understand, on Monday. The other two had oblique injuries. So they feel good that they could hold the fort. There is Shelby Miller. Figures to start on Monday. And this team begins the day 2 up on the Dodgers in the West. And a pop up by Bell. Shallow center. Well, look at that pattern. That was pretty to watch. The 4 defenders. One peeled off to the right, another to the left. As Dyson came in, Jay got a kick out of it.
Bunch of receivers out working a pattern, kind of a pick pattern. One guy goes out, you peel off, go by the other one. There's the center fielder.
Watch this. Look at these 4 guys. Statcast has it.
Colors, beautiful colors.
Yeah.
Colors and patterns.
2 down. Here's Polanco.
I was watching that game that you talked about when the Pirates fell behind 8-0 in Arizona. Then you have that big comeback, 6 in 1 inning. Then you wondered, okay, we made a big push. Do we have enough left to keep pushing, or did we push as much as we were going to on a given night? Well, they did come up with 2 more, but Diamondbacks just wouldn't quit. I watched that series, and then I picked up the stat pack today and looked. Diamondbacks last in the National League in team batting.
Yeah.
How can that be?
I'll tell the Pirates that.
Yeah.
Jordy Mercer certainly involved in the comeback effort. Last Tuesday, it's 3-1 on Polanco. And he draws the walk.
Walk number 39 issued by Godley.
And tonight's AARP take on Jordy Mercer against Zach Godley. And Jordy, what he's done over the last month, average of 321, OPS 895, 10 extra base hits, a couple of homers, 11 RBIs. And 8 of his last 9 games he's hit safely for 357 batting average during this stretch. Jose Osuna on deck, so if the inning continues, that would be it for Cool.
In the National League, Chatwood, the Cubs, Chatwood has walked 63. Martinez for St. Louis has walked 40, and then Godley. So take a look at Chad Cool, who is not feeling too cool right now.
One and two. By the way, the Cubs are playing the Reds in Cincy tonight. They're in the second inning, and it's Kyle Hendricks, not Tyler Chatwood, who's on the hill for the Cubs against Matt Harvey. Cardinals are in Milwaukee. Steve mentioned Carlos Martinez, who is pitching tonight for the Cardinals against Brent Suter, who was scheduled to go last night here in Pittsburgh. 2-2. Zach Godley has faced the Pirates a couple times, once as a starter. Right on the corner, and Jordy Mercer drops the bat in disbelief. 6-zip D-backs through 2. Kick off your weekend with the Bucks and some of the best bands in the burg. Friday Night Rocks. Get tuned into Pittsburgh's music scene, showcasing local artists and tracks throughout every Pirates Friday broadcast. Spinning Jenny, featured performer tomorrow night. Bucks take on the D-backs. Friday Night Rocks presented by Iron City Beer. And ball one. Hello. There we are. There we are. Ketel Marte.
He's not happy about the score either. Or she, I'm not sure. That child is not happy with the 6-0 score.
Lined into right. Ketel Marte, who homered in the first.
Well, with that hit and what has gone before, the leash is getting even shorter for Chad. As Josh went as high as he could. But the snakes are biting tonight.
And this one drilled to right. Way back and way gone. A no-doubter for Alex Avila. And Chad Kuhl, that picture says it all.
That's got to be it for him.
Just getting hammered here tonight.
Clint will wait till he gets to home plate.
Number 3 for Avila. And for the second time in 4 games against these Diamondbacks, the Pirates are trailing 8-0 in the 3rd inning.
Some nights you just don't have it.
Last Tuesday night it was Trevor Williams who lasted only 3, gave up 8, 3 earned, but this even rougher on Chad Kuhl.
And that grid, that strike zone, WB Mason strike zone tells it all. That ball's right down Grant Street. You know, I know that feeling. You wait all week. You wait 5 days, 4 days, whatever it is, and you know, you have the days where it's just a breeze you're controlling. Other days, you wait that long and you just get your face ripped off. It's
no fun.
Part of the business.
Yeah.
Yep, it isn't.
Strike on Nick Ahmed. A home run for Avila, just his 3rd.
Maybe the Vulture can pick one up here. 5-1, primarily out of the bullpen for Stephen Brault. But this is a long road.
Not too often do you see one team like the Diamondbacks beat up on another team, the Pirates, in 1 week. A nice play there by Bell, who had to go up, maybe leave the bag momentarily and come back. And a rare, very rare throw that was a bit off by Colin Moran. Every throw, it seems like it's chest high to Bell, regardless of where it's fielded from Moran.
Get back down, and he did. Yeah, that's it's usually chest high, right on the right on the letters. And you know, when you have a start like this, like Chad did, and every pitcher has one, you go in there, you feel just like you saw him feeling in there, and then somebody comes in out of the bullpen and they start getting out after us.
How did that happen?
How can it be that easy? How can it possibly be that easy? It doesn't happen all the time. You look out there, oh, they're getting out after out.
It's too bad because, again, Kuhl had really made some strides, going 6 innings in 4 of his last 5 starts. And as we've been saying recently, 6 is the new 7 these days.
Yep, for starters. And it was a little bit under the radar because he wasn't getting the wins, but he was making a lot of progress. And he will.
And now Gerard Dyson draws a walk, and I think maybe Pirate bench is barking at home plate umpire Stu Sherwater. This pitch not called a strike, but you can see it got most of that corner grid. So the pitcher Godley squaring to bunt again. Sacrificed last inning. Moved Dyson up from first to second, and then John Jay followed with a 2-run double. Taps one. Look at this, another. How about that? 2 consecutive throws there from Moran that weren't perfect, which is headline news, but not that tough for Bell. Almost worked as a sacrifice with Moran charging and then freezing when he saw Godley swinging away.
Yeah, that was a step back. Maybe that got in his head a little bit.
Colin Moran. 2 throws that weren't perfect. And now Brault. So Steve was saying, pitcher comes in and quickly retires the side. In this case, it's Brault, but the Pirates are down 8. Try to lead the way to a comeback, and as he went into the dugout, a little tap on the shoulder from his buddy Chad Kuhl, the Allegheny Health Network Supermo look.
Yep, all you can do is pat your buddy on the back and say, you got it, because I didn't have it tonight.
Well, now Brault wants to start another streak without a strikeout. He had gone, what, 33 straight major league at bats without striking out to begin his career, and then finally went down swinging on the recent road trip. The game we talked about when the Bucks were down 8. Brault came on to pitch in the 4th inning, and his 5th inning at bat was a strikeout.
Let's see if maybe he can work a free pass out of Godley. Takes up to the top of the batting order. Just don't help him out. He may get you, but don't help him.
To the shortstop, Ahmed. Brault is retired. Sunday's Kids Days at PNC Park this Sunday. The 9-game homestand comes to an end against the D-backs. 135, kids 14 and under get a drawstring bag thanks to MLB Network. Plus, before the game, enjoy the family fun zone on Federal Street. And after the game, kids can run the bases. Go to pirates.com/kidsdays for tickets. This coming Sunday. Josh Harrison bounced right into that shift ground ball to the shortstop his first time up against Godley.
Of course, Godley's responsibility now is you take a look at the same shift that we saw first time up. His job is to throw strikes. 8-run lead. 8-run leads aren't given to you very often. When they're handed to you, never forgive yourself if you don't go at least 5 innings.
How much do you like those?
Oh. People
How
say,
good do you
oh,
feel?
Yeah. Oh, the trap is you might get careless. Okay, I'll take my shot.
Yeah.
Give me 8 and we'll skate.
Rip to left. It's going to carry out. It is an out to Peralta. Another trap. You're down 8 and you feel like it is, and it's a mountain to climb, but man, you can't give up at bats. You got to battle, as the Pirates showed that game last week. They were maybe a hit away from tying the ball game a couple of times. Meadows had a 1-out single in that first inning, sharply hit into center.
He continues his education as the ebb and flow of a baseball season at the major league level. He's looking right at him. Godley gets a call there. Austin saying no. Major league hitters got a pretty good idea when it's a strike and when it's not. There's some gray areas, but this ball's moving down and away. Technically, it's outside the zone, but if any part of that ball hits one of those lines, it's technically a strike. Now, there's one right there that's
part of the baseball, caught it.
Yeah. That's
2-2. Godley, the 27-year-old from Bamberg, South Carolina.
There's the power curve.
And it turns out to be a 1-2-3 inning for him. So through 3, it's still 8-zip Arizona.
down the left field line. The Pirates at PNC Park this season do 10 different university branded nights, and tonight is WVU night. A lot of fans here from WVU have a special Pirates WVU branded hat with the logo on the left and the WVU colors, and there are hundreds and hundreds of WVU fans, alumni, students, a little bit of everything, more alumni and everything else with all the students being home for the summer. Greg and Steve, when you look at it, pretty cool thing to do. Us at AT&T Sportsnet have had a great partnership with WVU football and basketball for many, many years. And also, everybody in this section hoping that Javon Carter, their wonderful point guard, gets drafted in the first round of the NBA draft tonight, guys.
Welcome to the Mountaineers.
Yeah, great contingent on hand. Hard hit at Jordy Mercer, so Paul Goldschmidt will be retired. One pitch. Start the fourth. Check out a Point Park University tweet. Not a bad view for WVU night with the Pirates tonight. See the shot from really kind of our vantage point. Thank you, Laura, for that. Another university night. We had one last night. It was Robert Morris. And you can find out more about it. Go to pirates.com/university nights. The Pirates working with the universities this season, hosting 10 university nights on certain dates. Students, alumni, and fans of the local universities invited to cheer on the Pirates at PNC Park, and you get one of those caps.
Yeah. Mountaineer fans of all ages.
Former Mountaineer Jed Jerko and the Cardinals are leading the Brewers in Milwaukee 1-0 in the first. It was Matt Carpenter who had his 13th home run of the year.
I've seen a lot of him on recent highlight shots. So he was in the really depths when he was here in terms of his batting average.
The former pitcher David Carpenter, no relation, also a former WVU product, a Morgantown native. Stephen Brault grew up in the San Diego area. As he faces David Peralta, who was 0 for 2. And of course, Brault went to Regis University near Denver, not only to play baseball, but to study music. And he did a fine job the other night with the Star Spangled Banner as he walks Peralta in his second inning of relief.
This was his second walk.
Faces Daniel Descalso. Trevor Williams, also San Diego product. Saw a shot at Joe Musgrove earlier. Joe Musgrove will start on Saturday. Williams will start on Sunday. Might as well give a happy birthday shout out to Joe Musgrove's grandma, Lucy. He did a nice Instagram today. Had a bunch of the Pirates players in the clubhouse today wishing Ma, as he calls her, a happy 90th. I'm sure she's watching. So Steve and I also wish you a happy 90th, Ma.
Over on the birthday list, a special birthday to one of Dr. Pierce's patients, Karen Blass, celebrating birthday today, first day of summer.
How about that? And she's celebrating her birthday in grand style, right?
And that's a pretty good looking lid too. That hat's got it going on.
That looks like a giveaway lid that's been decked out. Yeah, that's good work. And that's not a bad one.
Yep.
D-backs fan, obviously.
Tip of the cap.
Yeah. 2-2 on Descalso. The floppy hat, Steve's favorite.
Yeah, that's it. Back to basics.
The Kevin Young fan next to him.
Well, he might have that might be a Spackler hat too, close to a
Carl Spackler, head greenskeeper.
Yep, and a good one he is.
Yep. Three and 2 the count now on Descalso. Ketel Marte's been busy. A couple of hits, a home run. Not a good night for Clint Hurdle's Pirates so far.
Another birthday wish. Great Pirate fan. Back in the day, saw just about every game the Pirates played in spring training. Orlando Bonnie Augenstein. Celebrating
Really?
75th birthday. Yeah.
What?
Used to see Bonnie at all of the Pirate spring training games.
Repeat that again?
She would follow the Pirates around. Great Pirate fan. Just saw the games. Hey, Bonnie, how you doing?
What's her name again?
Orlando Bonnie. That was her
Oh.
name. Her name is Bonnie, but she was from Orlando.
How about that?
Yep. Just she knew everything about the Pirates of those late 60s, early 70 days. Got a nice note from her sister. Hey, wish Orlando Bonnie a happy birthday. Happy birthday.
All right.
Number 75.
Outstanding. See the walk to Descalzo, so 2 free passes, and now Marte batting right-handed, this switch hitter. He's headed toward the corner. Oh, 0-1 on Marte. Well, it's a nicer night weather-wise, but not so much on the scoreboard. By the way, speaking of birthdays, we would certainly be remiss if we did not wish our buddy Garrett G.I. Jones a happy birthday. Former Pirates first baseman, and this current first baseman, Josh Bell, puts it away. Garrett Jones had some fun seasons here in Pittsburgh. He went off and played a few years in Japan, and we got a note from him recently. He's now back home in the States, living in the Nashville area. Madeline, how about that first game?
Pirate fans
Nice.
since day one.
Yeah. Pirates little cutie, Madeline. Good to have our great cameraman Terry back.
Doesn't miss a thing, does he?
Uh-uh.
Doesn't miss
Missed-
anything.
We missed him the one night. A little bit of a fender bender. There he is. He's back.
Yep.
All is well. Shooting up here. Way to go, T.
And he can get people going in the stands and getting ready for a
Oh,
shot and getting revved up and having a good time. You look at Terry, I mean, he's such a happy guy, you got to go along with him.
Yep.
You got to be involved.
Well, Avila homered off Cool last inning. The last batter Cool faced. Number 3 for Avila. Signed a 2-year deal over the winter. Former 5th-round pick of the Tigers.
With the son of the
Yep.
GM or
Yep.
owner or
GM of the Tigers.
Yep.
Al Avila. Of course, it's been a kind of a whirlwind for his son Alex, who was drafted in the 5th round in 2008 out of the University of Alabama when his dad was an assistant to the GM. Became a free agent and signed with the White Sox in November of 2015. And then signed back with Detroit as a free agent the following year, and then his dad traded him to the Cubs last year for Justin Wilson.
Yeah, how do you handle that? Hey, send Avila in here.
He handled it so well. He said, Dad, all right, then I'll become a free agent after this year, and I won't sign with you guys again. Sign with the Diamondbacks.
I got to get rid of you, son. Nothing personal, just business.
Yep. Michael, we're bigger than U.S. Steel.
Have some cake. Have some cake, Michael.
It's not personal.
The lines from The Godfather. They never go away.
3-2 now. As Stephen Brolt works his 2nd inning of relief. former Orioles prospect. And the Pirates still have starting in mind for him down the road, but for now works different roles out of this Pirates pen. But he's worked himself into a jam here, loading them up.
Oh, the control issues. Is that 4 now?
And 3 in this inning alone for Stephen Brault. Last worked on Saturday, a couple of scoreless innings against the Reds.
This is all turned around. We were supposed to be working walks from the starting pitcher from Arizona, Godley, but now they're being very patient and not being wildly swinging at the deliveries of Stephen Brault.
Nick Ahmed doubled off the wall and left to start the second, and he was the first batter that Brault faced last inning, and he got him to bounce out. And there's ball 1. See the pitch count for Brault at now 35, and yeah, he's uncharacteristically kind of all over the place here.
But, came into the game with 51 innings, 28 walks, so that's kind of not the way to work your way out of the bullpen back in the rotation. You got to throw strikes.
Which, for the most part, I mean, those numbers aren't good overall, but recently. And now he misses, but not by much.
And
so
when
now
you're on
he's
this
really
run, you're not going to get any pitches either.
True. Now he's got to come into Ahmed. And Gerard Dyson on deck. And he does come in right down the middle to Dyson. Ahmed, rather, at the plate. And a fly ball to left. And that'll do it. So he gets out of it. Pop out to left, but it's 8-0 Arizona.
All-wheel drive RAV4 inning. Toyota, what drives you?
8-0. Head to the bottom of the 4th.
Now that's what you call putting up a 0 the hard way. 3 walks.
Yeah.
And now you wonder what's going through Chad Kuhl's mind. Is
yeah.
You can
this guy's letting guys off base and he's getting outs. And,
crazy game of baseball.
Yeah, that's baseball.
A crazy game for starters and relievers.
We'll go back to our point about not giving up at bats and not conceding anything. It's 8-0. It looks impossible, but man, you got to start grinding things out and not chase, not give Godley any opportunities just to get easy outs. Came in with the 10th most walks, in the 3rd most walks in the National League.
He's closing in on Martinez.
10th most runs allowed in the league.
Then why is he 7-5?
Yeah, getting some run support at the right time, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's that question that's going on these days about the importance of wins for pitchers, and some are kind of dismissing it, but I mean, isn't that what you want your starting pitcher to go out and do?
Absolutely.
Win ball games?
Absolutely. I'm stunned.
Baffling.
It's ludicrous
Yep.
to say that wins aren't important to pitchers. My goodness. I mean, that's so crazy.
Godley has won 7 of them. Max Scherzer leads the league with 10. John Lester of the Cubs has won 9. The Braves rookie Sean Newcomb. Giants Chris Stratton. Phillies Aaron Nola. Cardinals Michael Wacha, all with 8. Wacha, by the way.
He's hurt.
Yeah, he is hurt. Oblique.
He said maybe a month or 2.
Yeah. And this is going to be just 1 out because of the shift. And Colin Moran hits it to the shortstop Ahmed on the right side of the infield. It's a routine double play ball under normal circumstances, and they're having fun with that point right now, Ahmed and Marte.
Yeah, you got the ball, double play ball, and you look over to second base to turn what? You want to go 4-6-3? Only, oh, there's nobody there. That's the world we live in. But, you know, why would you even want to pitch if wins weren't important?
Yeah, what good is a pitcher then? What good's a starting pitcher? Here is Francisco Cervelli.
You live for wins.
Good curveball there. Francisco Cervelli, we might show you at some point. You might have noticed it already. This new mask that he's trying out tonight, the Force 3 Defender. Braves catcher Tyler Flowers has been very much involved in it. Trying to reduce concussions.
It sounds, well, there's a wild pitch. WP on your card, get the man over to third base with 1 out.
Which, by the way, would be the 8th WP wild pitch,
Yep.
and put him all alone by himself if it is a wild pitch and not a pass ball. Most in the league.
Yeah. Getting back to those masks, you know, catchers, hard-nosed, gritty kind of guys, and you get something that sounds like something out of a superhero thing by 2 catchers with a name. Well, you got Flowers and you got Posey.
Yes, that's right.
Those are not hard-nosed catchers kind of names.
Here you see it though with Francisco Cervelli wearing it tonight for the first time.
Let's get a point. Let's get on the board. See what happens.
Bad strikeout for Cervelli in the second. Really chased. And again, not even close.
You see, here's the curveball. He throws it so hard, but that one's not close.
There we go. Through the wide open hole on the right side of that shift. They had the second baseman out of position, and Cervelli took advantage. Bucks on the board.
That might have been the curveball too. So we do get our first run of the game. By the way, that's not the Burt Blyleven curveball either. That's not a powered straight downer. It has a whole different look to it. But he got it upstairs to Francisco. This one was not down and away.
So Cervelli picks up his 36th run batted in. And now it's Josh Bell.
Walk, free pass to starting Marte, comes around.
Pass ball, by the way, not a wild pitch is what they charge. So
PB.
Yep. Well, the Bucks started their comeback last Tuesday in Phoenix in the 4th inning when they scored 6. They got helped out by the Diamondbacks. There was a catcher's interference by John Ryan Murphy with Gregory Polanco at the plate. Jordy Mercer was at the plate when he was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded.
Get Josh Bell to run into one, make a little noise here at the ballpark. It's been a struggle, to be quite honest, with Josh at the bat this year.
And he is a strikeout victim.
There's the curveball again.
There's that curveball again. And
yes, it's a power curve.
And the Barrel Automotive League leader stat pitchers coming into tonight who've gotten the most strikeouts using curveballs this season. You see Charlie Morton and Lance McCullers of the Astros, and there's Zach Godley.
You see the finger up on the ball. That's it used to be part of a knuckle curve or spiked curveball grip.
Didn't A.J. Burnett use that?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're seeing some really bad looking swings tonight by the Pirates off that pitch.
Yeah, we've heard from the Arizona people that it's a late breaking because he throws it so hard. Maybe it has the appearance of the fastball for most of the trip into the plate, and then you get the break late, and that'll cause a lot of whiffs. Sometimes you throw it so hard that it takes that long to have the curve part of it take effect.
Although, Steve, 77 innings coming in, 78 strikeouts. It's not like he's, I mean, that's pretty good.
It's not the dazzling strikeout number. In fact, he's won 7 games. That's the primary, but there's a lot of stuff around him that is not dazzling, but hey, the wins.
Yep. Just win, baby. Al Davis.
Well, a lot of people grew up with the fact that if you win, everything else is details. That's secondary. It's how you get there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just has to be.
I remember a guy who used to pitch for the Pirates say every time this subject comes up about the great stuff, low earned run average, ton of strikeouts. I mean, it carried no hitters. It seemed like every other start late in ball games. Jose De Leon, but he was not. He just didn't win games, and it's not meant to be disrespectful. He wasn't a winner on the Pirates. 8-1, Arizona. Diamondbacks, and in Milwaukee, by the way, the Brewers up on the Cardinals 2-1 in the second. Hoping for a big Pirates comeback, but now into the 5th inning, and Stephen Brault into his 3rd inning of work after Chad Kuhl was ineffective.
Four walks issued by Stephen Brault, but no damage. Sometimes you can get away with it. But you cannot get away with it forever.
Rod Dyson, one of the 4 walks issued by Brault. Dyson has singled, walked, scored a run. The 33-year-old native of Macomb, Mississippi. And again, our thoughts and prayers going out to Corey Dickerson, his family. Corey from Macomb, Mississippi, and is away on family medical emergency leave for at least 3 games and up to 7. 2-1 on Gerard Dyson, so Austin Meadows will be in the starting lineup. 2-2 count.
Well, when Stephen's throwing the ball over the plate, he's been effective. He has not let much happening in the outfield, just 1 fly ball out. He's the last out in the top of the 4th.
Let's go down to Robbie. He's got a special guest.
Yeah, so you remember a little while ago, Steve was talking about Orlando Bonnie, and Rick Rhodes, we affectionately call Maul, was shooting, found a lady with a birthday hat. Turns out it actually is Orlando Bonnie.
What?
So celebrating her 75th birthday here at the ballpark. Came down from Orlando. We call her Bonnie Augensteiner's name. We call her Orlando Bonnie. Orlando Bonnie, first of all, happy birthday to you. How's everything going? What's it like for you being back here for 2 days in Pittsburgh on the North Shore?
It's always wonderful to be back for a game.
Okay. Now, you've been a Pirates fan for a very, very long time. Quickly, tell us the story. How did you originally become a fan of the Buccos?
Well, when I was 15 years old, my dad was watching the All-Star game on July the 6th.
Yep, got the date right there.
Can't even remember the year. But anyhow, he was watching it, and the Pirates had 3 or 4 All-Stars on the team, and I got interested in it and studied baseball. Went to Little League games and learned from the coaches there, and then started following the team.
All right, Craig and Steve, what do you have for us? She's hanging out here with 18 family and friends.
Well,
Wow.
first of all, happy birthday, and thanks
Steve?
for being a great Bucco fan for so many years. We used to see you all the time in Florida, Bonnie, and you always were rooting for the Pirates, and it was always great to see you in those spring training games.
Steve says thank you for being such a fan. He remembers you coming down all those years at spring training games and all the like. In here, hold this up right here. Look at it. She has her homemade score sheet right
Nice.
here. Orlando Bonnie, 75 years of age, handwriting names, handwriting a score sheet. Fantastic stuff. So Steve says thank you very much. You're a great Bucco fan. He wanted me to pass that along to you.
Steve.
And,
thank you very
I'm
much.
sorry, how about her friend next to her there?
65 games last year.
165
Whoa.
games. That's 56. Yeah, almost a full regular season. Go ahead, Brownie. What
Did
did
you
you
say
think?
her friend next to her has been a big Bucco supporter as well?
Yeah, your friend next to you, big Bucco fan as well, right? Who you got next to you?
This is Diane. She was a neighbor of my grandmother's.
Oh, almost had a souvenir
Way
of
back and
baseball.
used to go to the games with me at Forbes Field.
How about that?
And how about here, as if that's not impressive enough, look at this. This is a seat cushion, I think was made sometime maybe in the 80s. Bunny, when did you make this?
Sometime in the 80s, yeah.
Wow.
Took me 8 years. I did 2 of them.
Hey, tell her, Robbie, one of the best-looking hats in the ballpark.
There it is. Yeah, you got the best looking hat in the entire ballpark, Steve says.
Oh, thanks.
And Steve's jealous, tell her.
And Steve's jealous. We need to cover up Steve's head with that. What do you think, Bonnie? She's ready to give it to you, Steve. How about that? What do you think?
It would be the best-looking hat I have.
He said it would be the best looking hat he has. All right, happy birthday, Orlando Bonnie. We're happy to have you back. Enjoy the night, okay?
Thank you.
Oh, I got a birthday kiss. How about that?
Nice.
That's
Good
right.
stuff,
You
Robbie.
don't get one, Greg. You don't get one, Steve. Be jealous.
Okay, I am.
Lucky boy. That is unbelievable, by the way. The coincidence that you were wishing her a happy birthday
That
and
is
you had
phenomenal.
no idea that she was in the stands.
That is unbelievable. That's unbelievable. And, you know, just not a great fan of the Pirates. I mean, a serious fan.
Obviously.
He keeps
Yeah.
the scorecard and everything. What a
Man.
great reunion.
Yeah,
Happy
yeah.
birthday, young lady.
Cool stuff. You see John Jay hit by the pitch. That's one way from keeping him from hitting home runs and driving in runs, I guess, but nobody was on base.
The only way.
Yeah. Paul Goldschmidt now. Way to go, Maul. Got it done. He found Orlando Bonney for us.
What a coincidence. I mean, that is so bizarre.
Let's throw a name out. See if Maul can find the person.
Yeah.
Let me think of somebody here. Might be here.
Terrific. And not just keeping score too. Got a clipboard. You know, you can have a scorecard or something, part of a program. That's serious baseball.
Excellent work.
I think she was saying to Robbie, she's seen 65 games last
Yeah.
year.
And high in the air on the infield. Mercer. Well, Stephen Brault has put up 3 scoreless innings. And at the halfway mark, it's 8-1. Happy birthday from Bonnie. Leads things off, and then we'll see Adam Frazier bat for Brault against Godley. 1 run on 2 hits. And there's the shortstop Ahmed to retire the Pirates shortstop Mercer. '18 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot now open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite Buccos are represented. Vote at pirates.com/vote and vote for your Pirates now and receive a buy one get one free ticket offer for any game at PNC Park this season. Catch all the excitement of the 89th Major League Baseball All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 17th live on Fox and in our nation's capital. And Stephen Brault pitches 3 innings of relief. Talking with Trevor Williams. And now Adam Frazier back in the big leagues. Richard Rodriguez recently off the disabled list, going to get some work in. The Pierogies are here.
Penny was the winner, leading the pack.
Adam Frazier recalled officially yesterday from AAA. Was 6 out of 30 with the Indianapolis Indians in 8 games. Well, Terry even gives high fives to the pierogies. High chopper. Well, that is one heck of a play by Daniel Descalso, the veteran
close.
third baseman and utility man.
I thought if that bounced one more time, he was going to make it, but he didn't.
Outstanding defensive play by Descalso, and another look at Frazier trying to beat it out for a hit. Descalso can bounce around, play anywhere. Steve mentioned how valuable he has been to this Diamondbacks team. Now Harrison 0 for 2. Jay Hay, last time up, lined out to left. Pirates actually have done good work against these Diamondbacks in the last few seasons here. At this right to the second baseman, Marte on the other side. And the Pirates go down in order for a second time tonight.
Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Check out our Nissan Road Ahead. This 4-game series continues tomorrow night. Ivan Nova for Pittsburgh against Patrick Corbin, and then Saturday afternoon it's Joe Musgrove against Zach Greinke. And the homestand ends on Sunday with Trevor Williams matched up against Clay Buchholz. There's Trevor Williams. Heck of a start his last time out.
Excellent.
That was on Monday. Adam Frazier stays in the ball game. He's now at second base. Double switch. And on WVU night, as someone in the truck pointed out, it is Richard Rodriguez on the mound. coming off the disabled list.
33 strikeouts in 22 innings. Football coach.
Yeah.
Much traveled football coach.
About 5-6 years or so.
Yeah. Rich Rodriguez just coming off the disabled list. A little arm inflammation, discomfort.
Faces David Peralta. 0 for 2 with a walk. And Peralta with a hit. So the former minor league pitcher in the Cardinals organization, Peralta singles to start the 6th. And a former Cardinal, Daniel Descalso, will face Richard Rodriguez.
A lot of former Cardinals. Mr. J, of course, much discussed Mr. J. Not only discussed, but discussed.
Yeah, disgusted with him. Dave McKay, the first base coach, a longtime Cardinal coach. Cardinals trailing Milwaukee 3-1 in the bottom of the 3rd. There is Dave McKay. Saw Dave McKay doing something I don't know that we've seen for a long time during batting practice last week. He had a handful of players during BP at second base taking leads, concentrating on getting jumps on balls, and just it's gotten to the point, unfortunately, over the years that a lot of players just kind of disregard even that part of it.
Yep. Leads and breaks. I mean, that's important.
Yep.
Get your
jumps off the bags, secondary leads. Line toward right center. Over is Starling Marte. That brings up Ketel Marte, no relation. Starling was talking to us before the game about the fact that Ketel Marte from Nisao in the Dominican Republic, that's about 50 miles south of where Starling grew up in Santo Domingo. Ketel.
Where's number 4? Wouldn't that be interesting if he wore number 1? Kettle 1.
Oh.
Or I mean Ketel 1.
That might be the line of the year. That might be the line of the year. Mark that one down if you would, Zach.
Yeah. That's one of the few that you don't laugh at. Marte and Marte.
That is really clever. If he were number 1. Ketel 1.
Rough night so far.
Ketel Marte acquired from Seattle along with Taiwan Walker and the Gene Segura Mitch Haniger deal a couple years ago. Mitch Haniger, how about what Mitch Haniger and the Mariners are doing? Mitch Haniger quietly with 54 RBIs, just one behind JD Martinez for the American League lead.
Seattle, the surprise team of the year.
Certainly one of them. They're just 3 back of the Astros in the American League West. And this ball lined to right center. Over again is Starling Marte.
So you got Ketel 1 in center field or left field, one of the outfield, and then you go Goldschlager at first base. I mean Goldschmidt.
Yeah. Here's Alex Avila, who homered in the 3rd. What if former Pirate Phil Gosselin's nickname, which is Goose?
Yeah, well, yeah. He's had good days, bad days, kind of gray days.
If he were wearing road grays.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
We're running down a bad road here.
Yeah, very bad. So put us to bed. Put a lid or a cap on it, or a cork in it.
The summer starts
Well done from Tyler Graham putting that piece together. From Summer does start tonight. 8-1 on the first day of summer.
Yeah, calmer summer night here than it was last night.
That away, Panthers. There's Austin Meadows.
Yeah, that'll kickstart something.
Yep. Meadows has just, Pirates have just 2 hits, and Meadows has 1 of them in the first inning. The other, Francisco Cervelli, opposite field single in the 4th. Fights this one off, and he just keeps hitting. It is so impressive what this guy is doing. Seeing all these pitchers for the very first time.
Yeah, and you're not going to expect him to hit 450 like he did the first few games, but he's been very, very steady. He hasn't been very cold yet. And just got to think that he's holding his own here at the major league level. That's not an easy thing to do. He's holding his own and then some.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, you look at what he has done since arriving on May the 18th and not starting every day either. I mean, being thrust into a situation he was the other night against Jeremy Jeffers, arguably one of maybe the top 5 relievers in the National League, and the way he battled him in that one at bat. That is smoked towards center field. A bullet off the padding, and Joey Cora going to wave home Meadows, and he will score on the double by Starling Marte. 8-2.
And that's good speed by Meadows. He probably could read that quite early, but the center fielder Dyson got a great bounce straight back at him without bouncing, kind of getting to him very quickly. So you wonder if it's going to be an issue for Meadows to come around. As you see, Marte doesn't miss that fat high pitch. So there's a hit, and there goes Meadows. Watch this bounce today. Gets to it very quickly, and Joey never hesitated sending him, and it works. give it a look, then he'll give Joey Cora a look and keep on trucking.
Bullet off the padding in center field, 107 miles per hour by Starling Marte.
Yeah, that ball is right up in the wheelhouse, and he didn't miss it.
Well, you need Moran to lay into one.
Gets away with a high curve ball there. Nothing wrong with getting 6 in the 6th.
Yep.
Can they do it? Well, they did it last week, right? Like you said.
Yep. Marte, RBI number 34. He was a part of that near miraculous comeback last week. He had a home run in that ball game. He loves to face these Diamondbacks. Got really good career numbers against them. 339 lifetime coming into the game.
And you don't have to do it all at once. You can hit for about 20 minutes, just all kind of different ways. Put a little string of pearls together.
Oh, and 2. Oh, 2 on Colin Moran, who has reached base safely, either a hit, walk, or hit by pitch in 49 of his 56 starts this season. That's over 87% of the time. And at this rate, currently, that ranks as one of the highest rates by any National League rookie since the late 60s. Reaching base safely 87.5% of the time in his starts. Give you an idea of some of the other names on the list. Since 1961, Mike Piazza, a rookie in '93 for the Dodgers, reached base 92% of the time. Scott Rowland in '97 with the Phillies, 89% of the time he reached. Albert Pujols, when he was a rookie for the Cardinals in 2001, reached base 88.5% of the time.
That's quite a list.
Oh, tough take. 1 and 2. Godley's pitch count very reasonable at 80, but we'll see what his manager Torey Lovullo decides. Should the Pirates pick up another base runner or two?
Staying alive. Keeping the at-bat going.
There's Torey Lovullo. His D-backs can lead the West by 2 games over the Dodgers. The Giants are 4 back. The Rockies trail by 4.5 games in the National League West. So he really didn't have to work much last inning. And this will allow Marte to go to third and take an aggressive turn.
That's got to be a wild pitch. That's got to be.
I would think so. That will definitely be his 8th and league leading wild pitch.
Spiking that curve. And that's one of those curves that didn't keep going left as you look at it on your screen. It had the spin that kind of reversed, took it back. Marte makes a big turn, but don't do anything drastic here when you're down this far. This is where you don't want to sacrifice fly. You want a base hit. Don't give many outs here. But just pick them off one at a time.
There you go. That's an idea.
Take a shot. Next up, number 46.
Got a ways to go before we can officially do that. It would be something special if the Pirates could pull off a comeback with this margin. And that ball drilled to center field and caught at the wall by Dyson.
That close. Right in front of the 399 sign. Gets you the run, but we're hoping for more.
8-3.
More carry than I thought I was going to get. Yeah, it hasn't measured.
Colin Moran, don't see him grimace much. Don't see much of a reaction at all from the Redbeard, but he was disappointed that that didn't travel a little bit further. And now giving a quick scatter report to Jordy Mercer. As Francisco Cervelli 1 for 2. Pirates still don't have a player in double digits in terms of home runs. In fact, they're the only team in the majors yet to have a hitter reach double digit in homers. Right now, Francisco Cervelli, Starling Marte, Gregory Polanco sitting on 9.
Nudging up toward the halfway mark of the season.
But the last Pirates catcher to either lead or co-lead the team in home runs was Bill Salkeld in 1945 with 15.
Francisco just really vehemently disagreeing with this call. It's a good strike, and he is just drawing it out with the home plate umpire, Steve Sherwater.
There's Stu Shorewater there. 2-2 the count. From Saskatchewan, Stu Shorewater. Last time there was a major league umpire who was born in Canada. Jim McKeon from Montreal. He was an American League ump in the 70s into the late 90s. 3-2 now.
He'll be on Jeopardy soon because Alex Trebek always gets somebody from Canada on, on the panels.
Yeah, he likes that.
Contestants, yeah.
Avila with this stop.
There's that power curveball. It's got all kind of spin, all kind of speed, and your catcher, you see a lot of those deliveries off the hard breaking curveball. It can bounce anywhere.
All right, Cervelli reaches.
That might cause a phone call, even though it's a 5-run lead, as Avila goes out to talk to his pitcher.
And he's going to get a visit maybe from his pitching coach, Mike Butcher. Now, Pirates and D-backs playing game 1 of a 4-game series here tonight. Continue it tomorrow night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, and tomorrow Zambelli Fireworks will follow the 7:05 game. You can go to pirates.com/fireworks for the Buccos D-backs. Fireworks tomorrow.
Rocking and rolling. It's just not Friday night it rocks. We're rocking on Thursday too.
On Saturday, the bobbleheads, the first 20,000 fans, the Sean Rodriguez bobbleheads. And we mentioned Kids Day on Sunday.
Keep in mind that Saturday game 4:05.
Yeah. Here's Sean Rod. The walk-off bobblehead giveaway on Saturday afternoon, 4:05. First 20,000 fans. Let's see if Josh Bell can't come up with a long ball. He is overdue. He's hit safely in 6 of his last 7 games, but he hasn't homered since the end of May. And he dribbles one to first. Brings up Gregory Polanco, who has walked and struck out. Godley has struck out 5. He's walked 3.
Well, I'm going to give it a try, Greg. With Godley kind of laboring here a little bit in the 6th inning. Could be tiring a little bit. They're starting to get busy out there in the bullpen. I'm predicting Greggy's going to run into one.
Okay, now you're talking, Bob. I hope Gregory comes through for you.
Yep. Polanco not happy with that call. Excuse me there.
That's okay.
A little late for the
I
call.
I called you Bob. So you're
know,
just
I know.
following through with it.
Yep. Step into his shoes
Yep.
here.
And Sean Rodriguez in a pinch hit for Jordy Mercer. Still in the ball game.
There it is, Gregory.
And stabbed by Godley. Look what I found.
Yep.
Gets the out as he sprints off the mound. Well, Starling Marte doubled home Austin Meadows. His 800th career hit, 300th career RBI. Pirates moved within 5. In the Berg, Friday Night Rocks. Get tuned into Pittsburgh's music scene, showcasing local artists and tracks throughout every Friday Pirates broadcast. Spinning Jenny, featured performer tomorrow night as the Bucks take on the D-backs on Friday Night Rocks, presented by Iron City Beer. And Starling Marte with that RBI double off the wall. UPMC scoreboard 8-3, 7th inning. Sean Rodriguez takes over at short. Jordy Mercer out of the ball game. It's possible he's fine, but he's getting the rest of the night off. That happened last week in Phoenix.
That wild game.
He was pulled from the game early. We'll assume that that's the only thing that worries you is that even though it wasn't officially a day off yesterday, he didn't play, of course, with the game being postponed. And tonight is game number 66 for him. Freddie Galvis of the Padres has played the most games among shortstops in the National League with 76. Trevor Story, the Rockies, 74. Trey Turner, the Nats, 71. So let's hope that Mercer is fine.
So far, so good out of the Pirate bullpen.
Yeah.
Cool. Chad was charged with all 8 runs, and Stephen Brault worked in and around some free passes, but put up zeros. Rodriguez doing the same.
And you're seeing some news and notes around baseball. Told you about Waka. Major League Baseball announced that the Royals and Tigers are going to play a regular season game in Omaha, Nebraska next season. Also saw that Don Mattingly handed a suspension today, along with the pitcher Dan Straley, who ended up involved in the incident with Buster Posey, hitting Posey after both benches had been warned.
By the way, could that Tigers and Royals, did you say? Tigers and who playing in Omaha?
Royals, yep.
Yeah. Could that be in conjunction with the College World Series?
I think so. Right alongside it, just before it starts. Broken bat. Dyson is going to be out of the fine pick on the other end by Josh Bell. Sean Rodriguez guns it over there.
Nice play on both ends. Rodriguez coming. That might have been a broken bat. It sounded like it. Sean came in and make a real good play at short and a good pick. Rodriguez with the bare hand, throwing on the move. And there's the pick.
That was a good one. Excellent play by Josh Bell. Now Chris Owings is going to pinch hit for Zach Godley.
Well, Polanco didn't hit the ball out of the ballpark, but he sure did get Godley out of the ball game. Getting the bullpen.
Owings just 190. Chad Cole started, gave up 8 and 2+ innings. Stephen Brault 3 scoreless. Allowed 4 walks, didn't give up a hit. And now Richard Rodriguez, who gave up a leadoff single last inning, has retired 5 straight. Batting for Godley, who goes 6, gives up 3 runs on 4 hits.
That's the new quality start, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. 6 innings, 3 runs is a quality start.
4.50 ERA.
Yep. ERA of 4.5. So Torey Lovullo is going to go to Fernando Salas. Now Owings putting up a little battle here with Richard Rodriguez. It was Owings who was hit by that Joe Musgrove pitch. Pirates were leading 5-0. And Josh Harrison was hit by a pitch in the 7th inning. Austin Meadows was buzzed in that frame, and then the first batter that Musgrove faced in the bottom half, he plunked him. That was Owings. And the D-backs went on to win the ball game. They scored 5 in that 7th. Again, Harrison hit by the pitch. Obviously not happy with Braden Shipley.
Yeah, up around the head.
Who would later buzz Meadows.
Yeah, up around the head.
Musgrove took matters into his own hands and hit Owings on the very first pitch. And that just happened to be the beginning of a comeback for Arizona as Frazier throws out Owings, and that's 1-2-3 for Richard Rodriguez. For his 20,000 fans. We'll get a Sean Rodriguez walk-off bobblehead thanks to Central Blood Bank. Before the game, Jim Beam Block Party on Federal Street features live music, food trucks, plus John Candelaria going to be signing autographs. Go to pirates.com/bobbleheads for tickets. Saturday 4:05 game. The Pirates and D-backs battle here in game 3 of the 4-game series. And Joe Musgrove will be on the hill.
Yep. Fernando Salas on the hill now for the Diamondbacks. Comes in with a 4.09 ERA, but according to the notes, has been pitching much better of late. Last 13 appearances, a ERA of $1.50. Godley goes 6 innings, as Greg said, with the 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Pirates need to get more. They've got 3, they need more.
With only 3 innings left to get more. And here's Sean Rod with his first at bat of the night. He's been really good against left-handed pitching, has Rodriguez. That's why he was in the starting lineup last night against Brent Suter, but the game was rained out. Hitting .294 against southpaws. You see his season batting average is as low as it is because he's hitting .096 against right-handed pitching. 7 for 73. And it's going to drop even further. He might have broken his bat there. Nick Ahmed catches the soft liner. And Adam Frazier will get a second at bat. He bounced down on a nice play by Daniel Descalso. Last 13 games, Salas an ERA of 1.5. Slap toward left. 2 outs. Peralta with the play. Now Jose Osuna will pinch hit for the pitcher Rodriguez. And Michael Felice going to be the new Pirates pitcher when we go to the 8th. Richard Rodriguez.
Good work. Yeah.
Couple scoreless for him. Osuna recalled on Monday from Indy. He was hitting .340 at AAA Indianapolis. Speaking of the minor leagues, best of luck to the Pirates' New York Penn League affiliate down in Morgantown, West Virginia. The Black Bears kicking off their season as they open up against State College Spikes down in Morgantown. And the Pirates' first-round pick and 10th overall, outfielder Travis Swaggerty, making his professional debut. He's hitless in 3 at-bats, does have a walk, and playing center field as Osuna pops up. And Goldschmidt will put it away, and the Pirates retired in order. Down 5 through 7. Those top picks ready to start their pro careers, including Travis Swaggerty, revealing the unbreakable bond that binds him to his father. Plus, PNC Park transformed its former playground into a one-of-a-kind interactive learning exhibit. Those stories and top plays debuting Saturday after Pirates postgame. Here it's 8-3 along the banks of the Allegheny River as the Diamondbacks got off to a quick start. 3 in the first. A sacrifice fly by Daniel Descalso. John Jay led off the ball game with a double over the head of Austin Meadows. And following a walk to Paul Goldschmidt, Chad Kuhl got an out before the sac fly, and then Ketel Marte hit a 2-run homer to make it 3-zip. Michael Felice will come on. 3 more in the second off of Kuhl. Nick Ahmed led off with a double. Gerard Dyson with a base hit. And following a bunt, John Jay doubled in 2 more. He would score later in the inning to make it 6-zip, and well on their way to what looked like a rout, and I guess by definition you'd still call it that, leading by 5 in the 8th. And John Jay has been in the middle of it all once again as Michael Felice gets some work in. Jay been retired once. He was hit by a pitch his last time up against Stephen Broll.
One thing you can't explain in this game, why a particular player has a particular team's number.
You know what's interesting about that, or a particular pitcher, and this ball smoked to center, lined right at Marte. I guess that is also true, Steve, when it comes to batters against pitchers,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Well, you get pitchers that
Certain
have
pitchers
had the
own
number of
hitters.
some, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, I know you've kidded in the past about Billy Williams, right? And how he
Yep,
kind of
yep,
owned you. But
yep.
was there a hitter, and maybe it was Williams, who just owned the Pirates during your years that you can recall? Not just you.
Well, yeah, he was so good. He kind of owned a lot of people,
yeah.
but yeah, he.
I almost want to say that, not disrespecting John Jay, but kind of a fringe type player. You know, somebody that you wouldn't expect, like a, I don't know.
Well,
Like
I had trouble with Cesar Geronimo. A good player, but not a headliner. Who knows? You know, I couldn't get Billy Williams out, but I had good I won a lot of ball games against the Cubs. So he got a share of hits, but I think I had one of my best team win numbers against the Cubs, but he sure got his money's worth. He and Santo also. Santo. In fact, somebody pointed out, I think it might have been John Maynard one time, he said, you always talk about Billy Williams, but Santo hit you better.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, well, that's all right. That's a reminder. They both had their way, but I had good luck against the Cubs in terms of wins and losses. So go figure.
Ball fouled away out of play.
It's just some kind of a comfort zone or something. It's hard to quantify. You can look at the results and say, oh yeah, he does this, but why is it just against that ball club? Good work by Feliz.
Jeez, I'll say.
Thank you, Michael.
1, 2, 3. And a new pitcher will be coming on, Jorge De La Rosa.
Sportsnet is brought to you by the Chevy Silverado and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
8-3, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning here at PNC Park. D-backs in front and looking to take 3 of the first 4 games played in the season series, which continues tomorrow night.
Jorge De La Rosa comes on to work in the bottom of the 8th. This veteran, native of Mexico. 104 major league wins. He's one of 5 from Mexico who've won over 100 games. Bring it up because our own Esteban Loaiza won 126. He was in 3rd place. I'm sorry, 2nd place. Fernando Valenzuela with the most. Fernando had 173.
Fernando Mania. Austin Meadows now 2 for 3. And lines it into left. I mean, this guy's so impressive what he's doing. Seeing these big league pitchers for the first time, this lefty just smokes it into left, and he is 3 for 4.
Well, we waited a long time, and so did he, to see him at the major league level, and he is not disappointed. Anybody.
Huh.
The Pirates kept saying, okay, be ready, be patient, be patient. He's been hurt, he's done this, he's done. But, the patience has paid off.
He is now, by the way, hitting .340. Less than 100 major league at bats. Now with 33 hits. And Starling Marte, who's 1 for 2 with a walk and an RBI double and 2 runs scored.
Crushing double.
You know, Meadows, you really would love to see him, what he could do if he played every single day and wasn't part of an outfield rotation. Because he's certainly not used to that, other than when he has been hurt. Steve referred to his injury-plagued minor league career, some fluke injuries. But tonight, he makes his 23rd start in the big leagues and hitting well over .350 as a starter. The rookie of the month in the National League for May. Hit .409 in 13 games. Called up May the 18th and still won Rookie of the Month. Talking to quite a player, quite a hitter in his own right. Certainly Paul Goldschmidt.
What you want to do over there at first base is kind of keep your mouth shut and keep your ears open.
And just poke to the right side. Nice little play there by Marte. And they will not turn 2 on Starling Marte.
He is quick at second base, Marte, isn't he? He had a real nice play there. Goes down on one knee, kind of a fluid motion, and that's a good play.
Allegheny Health Network Supermo look, and this different angle. Regular speed. Ketel Marte erasing Meadows, and here now is Colin Moran. Seven-game hitting streak for the rookie Colin Moran. Dribbled one out in front of the plate in the first inning. Hit right into the shift. The shortstop swung over on the second base side of the bag in the fourth inning and bounced it to Nick Ahmed. Last time up, drove a ball to the wall in center to drive in Starling Marte. few more feet, who knows? The ball, even if it's not a home run, if it's extra bases, where the Pirates end up in that 6th inning. Settled for a 2 spot.
I always talk about how many opportunities you're going to get in the course of a ball game. That was the Pirates' best. Just depends on how you are able to max it out.
Descalso and Ahmed just flip-flopped. And the stop there by Avila.
Sometimes you get the pronunciation Avila. This is Avila.
Well, apparently his dad goes by Avila, his dad from Cuba. But Alex Avila sticks with that pronunciation.
Bobby Avila, a batting championship way back in the 50s.
Look at that work by Moran. It almost looked intentional, didn't it, Steve?
Yeah, it did. And it almost looked intentional, him pushing the ball on those foul balls to stay alive was something he really couldn't do much with.
We talked about this the other night with Bob about, you know, this the thoughts that going around baseball, the idea about outlawing shifting. Shouldn't the players be able to kind of police themselves and get through this themselves without new rules? Well, Moran's showing you.
Yeah.
Maybe you can do it yourself.
Yep.
Off the lefty, slaps it past third, where that position was essentially vacated.
Hit them where they ain't, right?
Yeah.
Willie Keller.
Wee Willie Keeler. Yep.
I mean, controlled at bat, pushing the ball, looking where your best percentages of open ground are.
So he extends his hitting streak to 8 straight games. Mike Butcher out to talk with De La Rosa. And it is Cervelli. And you're down to 5 outs. Some of the starters are out of the game, including Josh Harrison and Jordy Mercer, but it doesn't mean Pirates can't come back. Cervelli, after striking out in the 2nd against Zach Godley, he poked a ball through that wide open hole on the right side to drive in the 1st run and walked his last time up. Cervelli always lets the pitcher know, hey, it was I'm the one that called time. Almost apologetically.
You will know just about every thought that Francisco has.
Yeah.
He'll let you know what he's thinking.
And it will be interesting to find out when he decided to go with that, again, the new look catcher's mask, the Force 3 defender. Trying to take a lot of the impact away because Cervelli's had to deal with the concussions. There's actually umpires, minor league umpires, who really helped design it, along with Tyler Flowers. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Congratulations to whoever comes up with something that can help that issue.
Catchers and umpires, they take beatings.
Kind of the idea of the liner in a pitcher's cap has kind of gone away, hasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't heard much about that recently.
Big deal 2 or 3 spring trainings
Yeah,
ago.
they talked about maybe, but just never caught on, not yet anyway. And Michael Felice, quick 1-2-3 top of this 8th inning. The bullpen, Shihisa Hirano getting ready. Lays off close pitch and gets the call this time from Stu Sherwater. Josh Bell is hitless in 3 trips to the plate. With 1 out. Cervelli just trying to get on base, get some runners on. or line it. Oh, what a pick by Marte, and he turns it into a double play. Ketel Marte.
That was pretty slick right there. That was real slick.
In Pittsburgh, the first of the 4-game series against the Diamondbacks. Here's a look again at that slick double play turn, a shot.
That's quick. Great reactions by Mr. Marte. Turns around, the feed.
Well, they can
Once
play
they get
some
it down
defense.
second base, no contest.
Boy, it's a double play combination, and Francisco Cervelli robbed of a hit and an RBI there. Not that it's always an indication of how well a team plays defensively, but it's worth noting that the Diamondbacks have the fewest errors committed in the league. Go along with some slick plays. I mean, you got Paul Goldschmidt, a 3-time Gold Glover. We mentioned Nick Ahmed, who will probably win one down the road as long as he can hit a little bit. That always seems to be critical for voters. You almost need to become an offensive player before they notice your glove. And Daniel Descalso bounces around, but he made a really nice defensive play earlier in the ball game. And now Frazier. One out to start the 9th. We'll bring up Ketel Marte. Well, Steve, you and I and Joe going to be involved in a media discussion panel at the Wyndham Grand Hotel tomorrow morning, part of the SABR convention that's been going on starting today.
Looking forward to that.
Tomorrow afternoon it'll be Neil Huntington here at PNC Park, and really neat stuff. It'll be fun to hang out there and catch all the information. SABR provides not just the statistics, but really the great history of the game, and really cool stories. They're going to go over the Branch Rickey years you saw on that graphic, and the forgotten team, the 1908 Pirates.
Good chance to spend some time with Kurt Smith.
Great writer.
Yep.
And baseball historian, in particular concentrating on broadcasters. He will actually host that panel discussion tomorrow. Two and two. And Marte, who is 2 out of 4. Full count. There's that mask we're talking about. Cervelli trying out tonight. And it's going to go out of play.
You got to believe that mask has got a whole bunch of cushioning in interior underneath all the hardware and plastic.
Tyler Flowers kind of helped design it. Mentioned that a couple of former umpires in a similar position as the catcher, taking those foul balls, and a nice backhand play by Sean Rodriguez, but he guns it past Josh Bell.
He was charged with an error on the throw. Nice pick. And an errant throw. There's the beginning.
Not much Bell could do there. Just rifled past him. So Sean Rodriguez, it's his 4th error of the season, and runner at second base for Avila. I was just reading about what Tyler Flowers had to say about this mask, Steve. He said at the catching position in particular, you're at the most risk of having a 100-mile-per-hour ball hit you in the face. With this mask, the term for testing masks now is severity index. And he says this mask on average reduces that severity index by more than 50%. So the easy analogy is that a 100-mile-per-hour fastball now feels like a 50-mile-per-hour fastball.
You wonder about the rounded front of it, whether that's a deflection situation too, where it doesn't hit you flat on and just kind of bounce, just drop straight down.
Flowers said that the vision is actually a little bit bigger in terms of the area for the eyes, part of that mask, and he helped design it to have something that feels the exact same as what you're used to and can absorb that much more energy and alleviate any concern of having anything significant happen to you, concussion wise or anything else. Big relief.
You wonder now that material on the back, is that for, would that do something for the backswing, that you might get hit on the back of the head?
Could be. But it would make some sense for, especially if it feels the same as the other masks, which was,
that's got to
as
be,
Flowers said, is so important.
That's critical.
Yeah. But makes all the sense in the world for, well, for all catchers, but especially those like Cervelli, who's dealt with those concussion issues. There's a liner toward left, and that will get past Meadows, and will score Ketel Marte an unearned run as Avila drives in his 3rd run of the night.
Thought that might off the bat slice back toward Austin Meadows, but not to be. First time in a long time the Diamondbacks add on.
First run since the 3rd, and the first run off the bullpen, and it's unearned. And past Felice to Frazier. So Ahmed is the 2nd out. 9-3 D-backs lead. Reds are leading in the 8th inning over the Cubs in Cincinnati 6-2, while the Brewers have a 7-2 lead at home over the Cardinals. Gerard Dyson. A hit, a walk, a strikeout, and a ground out. And he bounces this ball just foul. How about Dyson, Steve? He was drafted in the 50th round by the Royals.
There's a 50th round?
There was, no longer. And he was the first player to appear on an opening day roster when the draft was at 50. From 1965 to 1997, it was essentially limitless. In 2012, it was limited to 40 rounds, but Gerard Dyson, a 50th rounder of the Royals.
How could you not like him just because of the speed? Look, he looks like an athlete, looks like a player.
2-2 on Gerard Dyson.
Good for him. Well, you wait around that long.
Fouls this one off. Before 1998, teams could draft as many players as they wanted, provided they did so in turn. So every draft from the first in 1965 to 1997 was a different length. And again, that changed in 1998 when it was limited to 50 rounds and then reduced to 40 in 2012. This will be out of play. The latest pick to make it to the majors as a player, right-handed pitcher Travis Phelps, was drafted out of Crowder College by the Tampa Bay Rays with the 1,721st overall pick in the 89th round.
Oh my goodness.
Strong rookie season with the Tampa Bay bullpen in 2001 and basically washed out 3 years later. And of course, there have been some great players drafted late. I mean, maybe none bigger than Mike Piazza, 62nd round pick of the Dodgers in 1988. I did not know that Keith Hernandez wasn't drafted until the 42nd round in 1971 by the Cardinals. 785th pick overall, went on to win 11 Gold Gloves as Gerard Dyson strikes out looking, and we head to the bottom of the ninth. 9-3 D-backs. Tomorrow night, Bucks D-backs meet in Game 2 of this 4-game series. Ivan Nova on the mound against Patrick Corbin. Coverage starts 6:30. Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason. There is tomorrow night's starter. Pirates need a bunch. Devin Marrero takes over at third.
This was a tough one from the beginning. You fall behind 8-0 after 3 innings. It is a long road back to that. So tough to overcome. It can happen. Doesn't happen often.
You need a lot of things to go your way. You need guys like Ketel Marte not to add on, or John Jay to do what he does. Yeah. We were talking about that earlier with John Jay and wondering about players, and these aren't necessarily players that are, we said, fringe regarding John Jay, just guys that aren't maybe superstars. Jeff Cirillo, who was a .296 career hitter, hit .384 against the Pirates, and there's a base hit for Bell in front of John Jay. Tony Fernandez hit .381 in 42 games against Pittsburgh. Fernandez played from the early 90s to 2001. Ralph Garr, remember him, Steve?
Oh,
of course.
Yeah.
62 games against the Bucks, hit .359. A former Brave.
I'll give you an example of an individual situation. Willie Stargell torched Ted Abernathy. He was a relief pitcher, bounced around the National League, wound up with the Cubs a good bit. Willie Stargell just it was cruel what he did to him. Tough Ted. It was not too tough on Willie.
Now Polanco, a walk, a strikeout, and a hard comebacker. Facing the lefty De La Rosa, and he's in the hole 0-2. How about Gonzo, who's in the building tonight?
Yeah.
He, 131 career games against the Pirates, hit .313 with 19 homers. And talk about cruel what the D-backs PR staff did to Bob Walk. They put in the notes that he hit .545 against Bob. 5 for 11.
Well, that was a little unnecessary, I think.
I agree. And there's Gonzo on the left and Mike Farron on the right in the radio booth for the D-backs. Luis Gonzalez.
545.
Yeah, against Bobby. And at Three River Stadium, Gonzalez among the stadium's all-time leaders in average and slugging at Three Rivers. That's hit sharply, but they've got a man there. And it's a double play.
What about Gary Sheffield had some issues with Bob too. I think Bob finally threw him an ephus pitch and tried everything.
Yeah. Nick Ahmed turning that into a double play. Now Sean Rodriguez again. Here's that lefty matchup he's looking for.
You know, Greg, back in the day, we're going to go see the Sabre people tomorrow morning. I spoke at one of their gatherings here in Pittsburgh several years ago, and they gave me a nice wire-bound thing that listed everything about every home run I ever gave up. Who these people were, where they were born, their best friends when they're growing up, the name of the family dog. It was a fairly wide tome publication. Encyclopedia size. 126 of them.
Proudly given up.
Yeah.
By the way. And by the way, you're right, Ted Abernathy. Willie Stargell was 7 for 12 against him with 9 walks. So Willie did indeed torch him. Pirates down to their last strike. Down 9-3. And they've got their work cut out for them now if they want to make this a successful homestand. They won 2 of 3 against the Reds. They split what turned out to be a 2-gamer against the Brewers. And they're going to drop the first of 4 to these Diamondbacks.
Yeah, it's not looking good tonight.
No easy task when they look ahead at Patrick Corbin, Zach Greinke, and Clay Buchholz. We'll look for better starting pitching starting tomorrow night with Ivan Nova. Full count. And there is Zach Greinke. He will go on Saturday afternoon against Musgrove. Tomorrow, Nova versus Corbin, the left-hander. And ball 4, so Rodriguez draws a free pass, and Adam Frazier will get a third at bat after coming on as a pinch hitter for Stephen Brault in the 5th and staying in the game at 2nd. Torey Lovullo is going to go to a new pitcher. In a 9-3 game, runner at first, 2 outs. Having some fun out in the stands, over 20,500 here on a Thursday night as Jake Barrett tries to get the last out.
Just up from AAA Reno.
Excellent crowd, by the way. Didn't talk about that, but Thursday night, 20,544. It's 0-2 on Frazier. Torey Lovullo goes to the bullpen to try and get the last out. Don't see it too often, by the way, when, first of all, 9-3 game. A veteran like De La Rosa gets 2 outs after giving up the hit, got the double play ball. Then he walks a right-handed hitter, Sean Rodriguez, and he's pulled in favor of a righty to face the lefty hitting Frazier. So a little unorthodox. But they have their reasons.
Very late.
They know best. A friend of mine once said that, you know, you don't realize it's so true. All the numbers they pour through, and bottom line is they know best. 0-2 the count. Frazier going to get a hit off the glove of the diving shortstop, and Rodriguez will go to third. Now, the likelihood of a comeback with 2 outs and down 6, of course, so remote, but you would love, at the very least, for them to get their closer up and start to loosen. You know?
Yeah. And what you'd like to see along the way is for them to use about 4 more pitches before they get to the closer.
That's true, too. You're right. Elias Diaz. We'll have to see if Brad Boxberger even budges from his bullpen spot anytime soon.
He will if this ball goes over the fence.
Yeah, that's true. And now they tell Goldschmidt, back off. We don't need you to be holding Frazier. With 2 outs and down 6. Elias Diaz pinch hitting, and Frazier will take advantage and go in uncontested. And that's defensive indifference. Two 2-0.
Okay, let's have a conference.
You really would love to know the reasoning behind that, though, wouldn't you?
I would.
Like,
and when you say they know best, I don't understand the best part of that move to the bullpen. But it's not our job to understand it.
That's right. That's right. Just here to report, not editorialize. I'm looking at some numbers, though, because that's what they're looking at. De La Rosa, lefties hit 176 against him. And this gets, somehow it stays right there.
Of course.
In front of Avila instead of the backstop. The Pirates would have picked up a run.
Okay, I understand the numbers for the matchup.
No, I mean, they don't make sense is my point.
Right.
De La Rosa is pulled when facing Frazier, a left-handed hitter. Look at that, right off the toe. The Allegheny Health Network Supermo.
So much.
And lefties, by the way, 2 for 4 with a home run against Barrett. Well, now 3 for 5. A save, a kick save, and a beauty by Avila.
Yeah. His foot really hurts right now.
Is he asking about the number of trips to the mound? I think he is. And I think Lovello said, okay, we're good. Official visits. Stu Sherwater.
Rather ragged ending to this affair tonight.
And Diaz can find a gap here. 3-0 or walk. And give Austin Meadows a chance to come through again. Well, they do have Brad Boxberger up.
Boy, he's not taking any chances.
Yeah, not really throwing yet in earnest. See if Diaz can make him change that. Hefty cut.
And Mr. Meadows enjoying a good night. 3 out of 4.
And he gets him with a strikeout, and that ends it. Difficult night, no doubt, and it all started with the starting pitching. For the Pirates, Chad Kuhl was not sharp, and for the Diamondbacks, well, John Jay got it all started with his leadoff double over the head of Austin Meadows, and then a 2-run double in the second, 3 in the first, 3 in the third, in the second, and 2 in the third. and a final of 9-3. Ketel Marte, a 2-run homer. It's one of those nights.
Yep. Too much too early against the Bucks. The Snakes were lying in wait.
Yeah. Back out to Robin. Michael.
Guys, thanks very much. And yeah, that's basically what happened. Chad Kuhl just had a rough start. Couldn't get through the third inning, pitched into the third inning, gave up 8 runs, and that was pretty much the ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those tough nights where nothing seemed to go right. Chad Kuhl didn't have his best stuff, left some stuff out over the plate. John Jay continues to kill the Pirates, and it just was never able to catch back up throughout this game. Of course, they continued to fight because that's what they've done all year long, being relentless and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's hard to make that 8-run deficit up throughout a baseball game, especially when every guy that started tonight for the Diamondbacks reached base.
Now a 9-game homestand because last night's game was rained out. The Pirates now 3-3 with 3 games remaining, all of them coming against this first-place Arizona Diamondbacks team. Coming up on Pirates postgame presented by the Allegheny Health Network. Yeah, we'll have highlights from this game, analysis from Michael with Greg and Steve as well. Travis Swaggerty, the Bucks' first-round pick, makes his professional debut. We'll tell you how that went and more coming up next on Pirates postgame presented by the Allegheny Health Network.